When people hear the word Hawaii, they think of it as paradise. They think of the beautiful landscapes and they think of it as the perfect vacation spot. But behind the postcards is a growing crisis.
Report shows the number of homeless people in the U.S. jumped 12% over the past year, with Hawaii seeing the highest rates in the country.
Hawaii has a disproportionately high number of people experiencing homelessness compared to other countries, including the United States, with the national average ranging at 22.7, while Hawaii is ranging at 80.5 per 10,000 residents. There has been a point in time change for 2025. On Oahu, crews will no longer be counting the homeless who aren't in shelters. As of right now, there are 4,500 homeless who are under surveillance. We don't know the true amount of those unsheltered, leaving the grand total unknown. In need of more help and volunteers to help those who are still yet unsheltered, the organization I chose to work with is the Institute of Human Services. Due to being on back-to-back road trips for softball, I wasn't able to do my experience in person, but I was able to reach out to my auntie, Minda Goles, who is the Director of Housing and Employment, as well as Florence Tolentino, who is the Executive Assistant. Starting off with Minda, the question I had for her was, what are the factors contributing to persistent homelessness in Hawaii? Minda stated that the lack of access to mental health care and addiction treatment is a factor that contributes to homelessness. However, the rising cost in housing takes a larger toll. Many properties are bought out or owned by non-residents or wealthy investors, which inflates housing prices beyond what local families can afford. The question I saved for Florence is, what type of donations or volunteer efforts are the most helpful right now? She stated that basic necessities such as hygiene kits, new socks and underwear, non-perishable food, and cleaning supplies are always a huge help. They always need items that support people moving into housing, such as bedding, kitchenware, and small appliances. Gift cards to grocery stores or big box retailers like Target or Walmart also go a long way in helping people get settled into their new home. IHS started off as a peanut butter ministry in 1978. 30 volunteers manned a storefront every day of the week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., offering peanut butter sandwiches, coffee, temporary shelter, alcoholism education and support, as well as counseling. In 1980, the Institute of Human Services kept on growing and growing. Now they provide meals, shelter, education, medical care, employment services, and housing services. If housing insecurity in Hawaii is primarily driven by economic inequality and the lack of affordable housing, then addressing structural barriers through policy and social support will reduce homelessness. Hawaii's affordable housing crisis is what is pushing the homeless crisis to continue growing. Over the pandemic, housing prices went up $400,000. State Senate Brenton Ava stated out-of-state residents were paying $100,000 in cash on top of the next person's offer, which is more than what local residents can afford. The housing crisis takes us to the conflict theory. This theory shows us how the economic elites controls housing access in Hawaii. This is also related to gentrification. After getting a debrief of the out-of-state residents, neighborhoods in Honolulu are rapidly gentrifying, pricing out locals and increasing the risk of houselessness. From a functionalist lens, homelessness reflects a dysfunction in the housing and welfare systems of Hawaii. This disrupts the social equilibrium. On a micro level, we explore how homelessness affects individuals on a day-to-day personal level. This is Twinkle. She is considered as the leader of Puhanoa Waianae. It is one of the largest houseless encampment that is located on the leeward side of Oahu. She came to the Waianae boat harbor after losing her house in 2003. They have limited public restrooms or showers, rely on the little money they have to afford food, and no medical treatment or reliance emergency rooms. There are kids from newborn to 17. Brandon asked her if he had one wish, what would it be? She said for everyone to be in a home, and she would do anything and everything to make sure that the kids are well taken care of. This relates to social stratification. Homeless are often labeled as the lowest rank. They are often proceeded to be no one or invincible to other society ranks. This also leads to the labeling theory. Homeless often get labeled as crazy, chronic, scary, and many other mean names. The stigma of homelessness in Hawaii prevents many individuals from seeking help or finding work because people will ignore and avoid them. On a meso level, we examine how groups, institutions, and community networks interact with individuals experiencing homelessness. In absence of sufficient government support, nonprofits in Hawaii have become first responders to the housing crisis, offering not just shelter but dignity, advocacy, and pathways to healing. For example, the Institute of Hawaii. Challenges for members of these organizations can experience being underfunded and having burnout. It is our job as residents to help fund and donate to these organizations. The macro level addresses the systems, structures, and institutional forces that shape the broader conditions under which homelessness occurs, especially public policy, capitalism, racial inequality, and economic development. The housing crisis. Hawaii has the highest per capita rate in the United States. Affordable housing stock is far below demand. Developers prioritize luxury condos and vacation rentals. Minimum wage versus the cost of living. Hawaii's cost of living is over 80% higher than the national average. This leads to urban displacement. Urban displacement has especially affected Native Hawaiians and longtime residents, as land development caters to luxury tourism and real estate.